Hey, good evening and welcome to another edition of Talking Wrestling. My name is Ralph Williams, my co-host Smokin Jim Frazier by telephone. We are here tonight, and we'll be here for a few tonight. We have a lot to talk about wrestling news, including the Royal Rumble, some of the Royal Rumble stuff that's going on, the Vince McMahon nonsense and drama. More of it's continued. There's some more rumors circulating out there. Now, let me say this: they're only rumors. Okay, they're not. It's not for real. They're only rumors. There's a ton of them out there about what's going on with the sale of the company and so on and so forth. So that is as well. And we're going to talk. We have a little tragedy in the wrestling business tonight that we're going to talk about later on. Smokin Jim, it's a pleasure to have you on here again tonight. Welcome aboard.
Oh man, I always look forward to doing this show, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, first let's get into a tragic death in the wrestling world. Jay Briscoe. Those of you who don't know who Jay Briscoe is, he is part of the Briscoe brothers and who currently hold or did hold or are hold that do hold the ROH World Tag Team belts. They have held that belt and many others throughout the throughout the United States and around the world in different tag team events. Now, I had the actual privilege of personally meeting Jay Briscoe and his brother at an ROH event at Stage AE. In case you're not aware, I used to work security there years back, and ROH used to tape their events there twice a year, and I used to meet all the ROH guys. So I know a lot of them, and I had the privilege of meeting Jay and his brother, the Briscoes, and it's very sad as to what has happened to him. He died in a car crash. 38 years old, a few days ago, down in their hometown of North Carolina. They live down there in the North Carolina area. Smokin Jim, what's your thoughts on this with one of the Briscoe brothers?
Man, it's always sad to lose a professional athlete in his prime, and what a great family name, and to be involved. Man, we lose so many people, Ralph, to the car accident crash, man, fatalities, and that is so high, man. So prayers to his family, prayers to the wrestling community.
Yes.
And
they just recently won back the ROH tag team belts from FTR at the latest final battle, which ROH holds every year. And, this year they had just done that, and it's sad to hear of this. Okay, let's get into some wrestling news around the other than the WWE. We're going to talk the return of Raven to Impact Wrestling. He showed up at the recent pay-per-view Hard to Kill. He's back in wrestling business. He's a Hall of Famer. He's in the TNA Hall of Fame. Raven, he's been around a long time. He was in ECW for a while, WWE, and several other wrestling organizations. Josh Alexander in the last Hard to Kill pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling, Smokin Jim, he beat Bully Ray. Mickie James, she beat Jordan Grace in order to stay in wrestling. She was supposed to retire if she lost this match. Frankie Kazarian is now signed with Impact. Santino Marella, speaking of Impact, bunch of Impact news here. Not only Frankie Kazarian signing a contract, but how about Santino Marella, Smokin Jim, making a return? He is the new Director of Authority for Impact. Director of Authority. So the reason he is Director of Authority is because, I don't know if you're aware, but Bully Ray, about 2 weeks ago, decided to beat up Scott D'Amore, who's in charge of Impact Wrestling. So he's filling in for Scott D'Amore right now until Scott D'Amore recovers from the attack from Bully Ray. Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio is back in wrestling, Smokin Jim. He's going to be back with the promotion AAA Wrestling. He is back with them. This is his first wrestling organization that he's officially signed with in a long time. A lot of the AEW didn't want him. Impact don't want him back. He's been involved in a lot of domestic problems with Paige. He had that issue at Orlando Airport years back with that domestic argument. WWE fired him. Then he went to Impact. He caused grief there. They say he's very difficult to work with, but AAA Wrestling has decided to sign him to a contract. Former Rock and Roll Express member Ricky Morton has signed a singles contract with NWA. His son also is with them. They've tagged up many times, so it's good to see Ricky Morton re-signed with NWA. AEW Jay Cargill this week has the record for the longest title hold in AEW. What are your thoughts on that, Smokin' Jim?
Man, that's very impressive, brother. Anytime you got when you're the king of the hill and you can hang on to a belt that long, man, it's very impressive because everybody is after you, man, when you're sitting on top of the mountain.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into some WWE news. Jenny, who has retired from NXT, she was an NXT star, got hurt. She is the wife of Gunther. So Gunther's wife has stepped down from NXT. I guess because Gunther has the Intercontinental belt, Smokin' Jim, I guess he's making enough money. He don't have to work. Stephanie McMahon has had surgery this week and has officially resigned from the WWE. What's your thoughts on that, Smokin' Jim?
The company will continue to thrive.
You know that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day will be getting a new name. I found that out today. Name has not been revealed at this time, but Judgment Day is going to be getting a new name. We'll talk about it as we go. Speaking of the WWE situation with the sale, there's been rumors circulating this past week, and it's been on several broadcasts, and now I'm hearing it as well. It's a rumor, though. Tony Khan has put his bid into the hat, the owner of AEW, to buy WWE. You know, Tony Khan, Smokin' Jim, is doing what Vince McMahon did when he bought out his competition. He bought out WCW. Remember when that happened? So,
yes, sir.
What do you think with this thing with Tony Khan? Do you actually think Vince McMahon would sell to him?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think so either. I think Vince McMahon will hold out. I think because he doesn't want Tony Khan to control everything. And, so Vince McMahon is back with the company, but he hasn't taken over creative yet, is what they're saying. The current board, and the stockholders are trying, because he officially hasn't sold the group. There still hasn't been sold. It is for sale, but the Saudis have not bought it. And, there's a lot of rumors going around as to who is going to buy it. At this time, the Saudis do not own it, and they have denied that they have even put a bid in for it yet. But, the rumors are out there as to who's going to buy. As of right now, the stockholders still control the company. Them and the board of directors are saying they do not want Vince McMahon at all around any parts of creative. I think it would be a disaster if he was, because he ran the company into the ground as far as creative went. I think you should just let Triple H do what he's doing and let him continue to move on and just play a behind-the-scenes role. From what some of the wrestlers are saying right now, Vince McMahon is officially back and has not even been around any of the creative stuff. He's been in the back, but he hasn't been around any of the creative stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. What do you think is going to happen, Smokin' Jim?
I think he'll run it the way he's always running it. The best entertainment company in the world.
Okay, we have some more. We have some stuff coming up for not only just this Monday's 30th anniversary of Raw, which we'll discuss later. Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes is supposed to make a return based on if he gets medically cleared. He's supposed to return for the Royal Rumble. He's talking about it. It could happen, possibly, and also we're going to see some Hall of Famers that are going to return as well for the Royal Rumble. Also, Matt Riddle is returning. He's back from his suspension and his rehab stint. He posted on Twitter today, Smokin' Jim. He's back with his family. Now, I don't know if he's back with the wife that he was divorced from, but I see he's with a woman and 2 kids, and he said, "I'm back with my family." So I'm not sure if it's the family of his wife, that they were separated or divorced or whatever, and 2 kids. They're down there in Vegas, but they're back. It seems like he's got away from some of the drugs or some of the whatever he was involved in that was causing him to really have problems to where WWE had to suspend him. So they wrote him off of TV because he showed up. If you watched one of the Raw events, one of the Raw episodes, Smokin' Jim, you'll see he looked like he was high as can be. And when they interviewed him, his eyes were like bloodshot, and you could see him. He kind of looked like he was on something. And and it was the same night that the Bloodline beat him up to a pulp. So, what do you think about Matt Riddle? You think he can come back, get to stay away from the substance? What do you think?
Well, I never seen him where I didn't think he wasn't high. You know what I mean? just the way he talked, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
make you think it. But he adds the entertainment value. He got a heck of a following. He got a mixed martial arts background, cage fighter. He's a tough kid, and so hopefully he can get his demons together and get back doing what he loves to do. And I know that's entertaining the fans.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's get started here. Monday night Raw coming up this Monday. Smokin' Jim's 30th anniversary. There's going to be several dignitaries there, including the guy that we're going to be doing our Where Are They Now segment tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's going to be there as well tonight, or for Monday night. 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. It's been a staple forever on TV, and I believe that Monday Night Raw put the pinnacle of wrestling on Monday night. Okay, we have the Judgment Day taking on the Usos for the Raw Tag Team belts. Now, remember, we spoke on the last show last week about how WWE has decided to split the belts back up again. They're going to have the Raw will have the WWE title. And here's what's going on with the WWE title, the heavyweight title, the WWE heavyweight title. It looks like as of right now, rumors are going on that Roman Reigns will defend the SmackDown or the Universal title against The Rock at WrestleMania. And we've talked about this myself, you Smokin' Jim and Mark Mancini as well on our Wrestle Talk show many times about how this could happen. From the rumors I'm hearing right now, it's a strong possibility that's going to be the case. Now, Cody Rhodes is slated to win the Royal Rumble match. I mean, that's not really official, but he's one of the top people to win it. If he does win it, there will be a tournament. They will take the winner and the runner-up, the second person that was the last two guys, the person who was thrown over the top rope, and Cody Rhodes, and they will put them in a tournament at WrestleMania, and they will have a match to determine who will be the new WWE champion on Raw. That is how this right now the plan is for the WWE. What's your thoughts on this?
I like it. No matter what they come up with, it's going to work. That is one great idea. If Cody is medically clear, if he's 100%, if he got his strength back, I would love to see The Rock make a return. Mm-hmm. But you say The Rock versus Roman Reigns.
That's what the rumor is right now.
That'd be very tough. Two family guys going at it, But hey, I like the idea of the storyline. No matter what they come up with, it's going to work. It's been working for 30 years. It'll work for another 30 years.
That's it. There you go. I've said many times, Smokin' Jim, and I'll say it again, no matter what kind of material you put up there, WWE fans are still going to come out. They don't care. They'll spend their money. It's not like a football game or a baseball game or something. They put out poor product. WWE can put out the worst product in the world. People still show up and sell out arenas and things like that. Although attendance is down at both arenas and on Raw's ratings are down real bad. They got to get them back up. So they're talking about doing this. And speaking of the Judgment Day versus the Usos for the Raw Tag Team belts Monday night, Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. What was your thoughts Monday night on that 6-man number one contenders match? I actually thought it was a good match. It was nice to see Baron Corbin in there. It was nice to see, Dolph Ziggler get another shot. There were 6 great that I thought good guys. You had Rollins in there. You had Lashley. What do you think about that match?
Well, I was surprised to see Dolph in there because he got jumped in the locker room or whatever earlier in the broadcast. And but yeah, there were some superstars, there's some legitimate superstars, in that in there, and it worked out well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was the best match of the night, actually. Of course, that's why it was the main event. But anyway, Becky Lynch versus Bayley Monday night in a steel cage match. Becky Lynch wants a one-on-one with Bayley. The only way she claims to do it is to have it in a steel cage. This is going to be one heck of a match for Monday night. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm a big fan of the man, so I'm always going to think the man can beat anybody, even though she just seems to be getting thinner and thinner every time I see her. Is it just me, or is she losing a ton of weight, man?
She's probably losing a ton of weight.
Strength,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's lost a bunch of weight. She actually, believe it or not, took her pregnancy weight off pretty good, it looks like, because, usually when some of these superstars get pregnant, some of these women, they usually end up not being able to take their weight off. She worked out really well and took her weight off. I mean, you could tell,
she looks more, instead of looking like a man, she's looking more like a thin
man. All right, let's get on with the Raw card from Monday night. We'll get our thoughts, of course. Sikoa versus Mustafa Ali. I'm not going to comment on that. I knew Sikoa was going to win that match. Mustafa Ali didn't stand a chance, and I just wish he'd take his ball and go home, because Street Profits beat Sheldon Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with MVP at ringside. It's looking even more and more like the Hurt Business is getting back together. We're going to find out how that goes, getting the band back together, see what happens there. What's your thoughts on that match? Street Profits won the match, by the way.
Yeah, it was a good match. I was surprised how well the Hurt Business was able to do. MVP got involved, of course, but yeah, it was very, very close, man. The Hurt Business had their opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. Almost beat Elias. You kind of figured that was going to be a slaughter, almost. My question to you is, I didn't really see this match because I was doing something else at the time this match happened. What did Almost come out with MVP? Is he still with them, or did he come out on his own?
He's still with MVP, man.
Okay, so it looks like the Hurt Business.
He's still the most dominant wrestler in the game.
My question is, if they're going to put the Hurt Business back together, is Omos going to be a part of it? That's going to be my question. I'm just wondering if they would be foolish not to. I mean, because you're going to have two super giants in Lashley and Omos, and if you bring Alexander and Sheldon Benjamin back, you're going to have yourself a really interesting faction back together. What do you think about that?
Yeah, if they can get Bobby Lashley and Omos in the Hurt Business, that'd be pretty much unstoppable, man. But they'll turn on each other.
MVP always happens with him. It seems like he manages people and then they turn on him all the time. Judgment Day beat the Alpha Academy. I kind of suspected that was going to happen. What goes down with them, you know how that is. I'm not going to go any further with that, but I will tell you, Alpha Academy did give him a good match. I will say that. Otis is back doing his little worm thing, and so I'm thinking they may be going into the direction of babyface, away from the heel. I'm thinking, because he's back doing his little thing and smiling again and all that other stuff. So we'll see what goes on with Alpha Academy. Mia Yim beat Io Sky. I knew that was going to happen as well. Bronson Reed, he beat Tazira Tozawa. Tazira Tozawa went crying to Adam Pearce. He was looking to make a difference, wanted to be in the Royal Rumble match. Adam Pearce says, fine, you want to be in the match? Fight Bronson Reed. What do you think of this Bronson Reed? He was brought up from NXT. He was working for the Miz here for a little bit. What's your thoughts on him?
Oh, the guy's absolutely huge, man. He's he's a wrecking ball, man. His future is so bright. As long as he can stay healthy and continue to work at his trade, he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, I thought Raw was decent this past Monday night. I thought they had some pretty good matches. The cards have been pretty good since Triple H has taken over creative. I believe that's the situation. We'll get to some other rumors I have in regards to what's going on in the WWE up in the executive part of things. Let's talk about SmackDown Friday night. Charlotte Flair beat Sonya Deville. We knew that was going to happen. You and I have had many discussions in regards to Sonya Deville. She needs to stick with what she was doing before, being an official or something like that, and get out of wrestling. I think she's done. I don't think she can, do anything any better. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you said it all, man. She's. It's not that she's not a talented wrestler, but she doesn't have the potential to be a champion.
Right.
But she has the potential to be a really good executive, man, and that's what she had to stick with.
And then Bray Wyatt did his little thing with LA Knight, and then the Uncle Howdy came out Monday night. I forgot to mention when Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair were going round and round there, and with their talking, and it turns out Uncle Howdy came out. So, and then Sister Abigail again on Bianca Belair. It seems like Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. This is going to be an interesting matchup. What do you think's going to happen here when they do collide? I believe they're going to be wrestling at the Royal Rumble. What do you think is going to happen here?
Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I believe so too. Alexa Bliss has had too many concussions. She keeps trying to come back, and then she gets a concussion again, and then she disappears for months. I know she's been in concussion protocol with the WWE many times. I don't know how many more she needs to have to get the message that she just can't wrestle with the big dogs anymore. And, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens match turned out to be a disqualification. We smelled that coming. When they say, the bloodline's not here tonight, I'm going to fight by myself. And yeah, right. Okay. And I got a better chance of smoking Jimmy, you and I walking out some night and getting struck by lightning than the bloodline not being there for somebody. So now here's the match that really shocked me. Gunther beat Braun Strowman. I got to give Gunther credit. I really do. And, it was a long match. It was a good match. I wasn't real pleased with the outcome because I actually kind of wanted Braun Strowman. I'm not a big Gunther fan with his Imperium little group there. This Friday night on SmackDown, which we're going to go over two matches that have been announced, or one match has been announced, or two, I'm sorry. You got the Usos versus Sheamus and Butch for the SmackDown tag team belts. And then Roman Reigns will be there to sign a contract for the match with Kevin Owens at Royal Rumble. That's going to be an interesting setup as well. No other matches or no other activities have been announced. So we're going to find out what happens this Friday night. It's going to be like a mystery to see what's going to happen Friday night on SmackDown. Of course, I think the Usos are going to take Sheamus and Butch. I don't see them losing their belts. Not yet anyway. Rumor has it they're going to go to WrestleMania and they're going to fight Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Somehow, some way, the bloodline's going to turn on Sami Zayn. And I'm hearing that could happen before or even during WrestleMania. What do you think about this?
Well, they better hope they can beat Judgment Day. That's where they really got to focus. I think that's the biggest threat to the bloodline is Judgment Day. You got a guy that just got out of prison during hard times. I think the biggest threat, man, they got to get a female to offset Mama.
Yeah, they do.
Even Solo, he went and hit Mama. He threatened to put the thumb on her.
Well, Naomi's coming back. So if Naomi comes back, Jimmy Uso's wife is coming back. So if she comes back, and I'm told when she does, she's going to join the bloodline. So if she joins the bloodline, a minute.
You say she's related to?
Yeah, Jimmy Uso? Married to Jimmy Uso.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
she's
didn't
married to
know
Jimmy
that.
Uso. Yeah.
Wow, I never
So
knew
she's
that.
going to be
Okay.
joining the bloodline. So,
Wow.
or who knows? Maybe Nia Jax might come back and she'll be part of the bloodline because she was supposed to. Tamina Snuka, there was talks of her being part of the bloodline. I mean, it was
Okay.
all the females that are involved in that whole Samoan family and all that with the Snukas and the Samoans and all that. That was all. They were all supposed to get together, and then Nia Jax fell out when she kept injuring wrestlers when they told her not to. You know what I mean? And things like that, and kept going off script. And Tamina Snuka, she's like in her mid-40s. I don't even know if she even wants to do too much. Tamina Snuka, to me, rather than Naomi, would be the perfect enforcer to go up against Rhea Ripley or to take out Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
that. I think of the two of them. I mean, I know Naomi could take out Rhea Ripley a little bit because Naomi's been there and done that. She's been around. She's been a champ. She's a tough wrestler. I mean, and whatnot. But yeah, she's married to Jimmy Uso. I thought you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she's married to Jimmy Uso, and she's due back, and she may be part of the Royal Rumble women's match. So if that's the case, Naomi could be part of this whole equation. You know what I'm saying? As well.
Yes.
So all right. Tonight we're gonna do as we're gonna also be doing every Wednesday night. We're gonna do some kind of top 10. We've been doing it the last few weeks, you and I, Smokin' Jim, and tonight we're going to do the top 10 WWE wrestlers who are rotting in jail.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, first one, Velveteen Dream. Remember him from NXT? Well, yeah, his real name is Patrick Clark. He has been arrested for domestic violence and all kinds of different things, violating his probation and many different things. He's still in jail right now. He's waiting for a hearing. Supposedly, he's could be getting out of jail depending on what the judge decides to do. He went out and he got himself a lawyer, and he's been in jail because he hasn't been able to post bail. Now, then he posts bail, and he gets himself into some kind of trouble, and he's still in the hoosgow. So we're going to find out down the road what happens with him. He's in jail waiting trial or waiting hearing. Brian McGee, formerly known as DT Porter, he's in jail for domestic violence as well. Number 3, Harrison Hardbody Norris. He's in there for holding a company or a food stamp fraud. He's involved in food stamp fraud, and he involved a company in it that he shouldn't have involved in. So that's what he's in there for. Eugene Zentnoff, he's in there he has 12 felonies for sexual misconduct. 12 felonies for sexual misconduct. Now, I know you know this name, Tammy Stitch. You know who that is? Remember?
No.
Remember, she played WCW's Medusa, and then she was
with
And then the blonde, Tammy Stitch. Well, guess what? She was in a severe car accident not too long ago, towards the end of the year, or it was around August or September. I'm sorry, and she was involved in a severe car crash, and she was intoxicated, and this was like her 4th or 5th DUI, and she's also had some drug and alcohol problems over the years, and has had her in and out of jail. But this time, this accident, she killed somebody. So she's going to be in jail for a while. So Teddy Hart, drugs, welfare fraud, assaulting a handicapped person. So there you are, Teddy Hart. Ken Nightmare Wayne, illegal images of minors on a computer. So there you go with him. Cain Velasquez, you remember him?
No.
That's Rey Mysterio's cousin. He fought Brock Lesnar last year or 2 years ago in a match. Remember that? Well, he's in jail. He was involved in a road rage incident that involved shooting. He shot at this guy because he wouldn't get out of his way on the California freeways. Rey Mysterio's cousin. I kept saying, where is Cain Velasquez to help Rey with the Judgment Day? Well, now we know where he is. He's in jail. So, and his cousin. I think he was there helping cousin Dom out a little bit. You know what I mean? You know, helping cousin Dom out in jail. So. But anyway, yeah, that's the. Hang on a minute here. Some strange reason I keep putting the. There we go. All right. Next, we have Devin Hannibal Nicholson. He was involved in a assault of several assaults and all physical assaults and also theft. The next one is Fred DiBiase. He had, again, another welfare fraud in Mississippi. Guess how much? $50,000, Smokin' Jim. That is your top 10 wrestlers currently rotting in jail. Okay.
Wow.
Now, we have 2 top 10s tonight. We're going to do another one where wrestlers banned from the WWE. Now, there's a name on here that's banned from the WWE that's back. But when I got this top 10, his name was on the list, but he's currently not. But most of these guys, I think you'll pretty much agree with, are banned. Number 1, Chris Jericho. He's banned from the WWE because he supposedly, I guess all these guys, most of these guys that are banned from the WWE, except for Cody Rhodes is on this list, but he's back. But that was influenced by Triple H to bring him back. So Cody Rhodes being back, that's where that influence came from. But what I'm saying is Chris Jericho, anybody on this list that's here that spoke or talked about on social media or badmouth WWE or Vince McMahon, that's why they're on this list. Shane Douglas, local man. He was with ECW for a long time. He was in TNA for a little bit, WCW. He's a local man from Beaver Falls area or Beaver County area. Shane Douglas. And he's no longer permitted back in the WWE either. And, of course, the late Luke Harper, Brody Lee, he was not allowed back in the WWE either. He made some comments. John Moxley, Dean Ambrose. John Moxley's not allowed back in the WWE at all as well. Jordan Miles, I remember him. He's no longer allowed back in the WWE. Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, no longer permitted in the WWE either. CM Punk, as well. We all know the situation with him in the WWE. Enzo Amore, remember him? He's no longer allowed back in the WWE.
Wow.
After the nonsense he caused. He was involved with a sexual assault with an employee of the WWE, and that's how he got kicked out. And he was not very sociable and not very nice to work with, so he's been permanently kicked out. And Ryback, remember Big Ryback? He's been kicked out too. He's no longer allowed in the WWE. And he's made several comments over the years and the reasons for him working in the independents. There were rumors he was coming to AEW, but that hasn't been said yet. I learned my lesson in the late 80s when I badmouthed my radio boss on the air because he shut down my Christian rock show when I was working for a Christian radio station. And I learned my lesson then. And, you never badmouth your boss in public. So what has happened is he managed to badmouth Vince McMahon. He didn't like some of the things he did, and Vince McMahon made him pay for it. So there we are. So, Smokin' Jim, what are your thoughts on this, the sale of the company and all this nonsense? Now we're hearing that if Triple H decides to walk and this Nick Khan, Triple H, and Stephanie are talking about starting their own company because I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be a hostile work environment if Vince decides to come back to creative and getting involved in creative. What do you think about this?
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
I never heard that one, but I've heard "Don't let the door hit you" on the way out. But I never heard that one. That actually was a brand new Smokin' Jim thing here on this show because I've never heard that one, but that's a good one there. Okay. Tonight we are focusing on where are they now? Stone Cold Steve Austin. And those of you who don't remember Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you don't, I think you're hiding under a rock because back in the 90s when they had the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin was held belts in the WWE. But the biggest thing in the Attitude era was his feud with Vince McMahon. And actually, when his feud with Vince McMahon was around, he was calling himself Mr. McMahon. He wasn't even calling himself Vince McMahon. He was calling himself Mr. McMahon, and they made each other's lives a living hell. What's your thoughts on the Attitude Era with Vince and Stone Cold?
Oh man, that was a lot of fun, man. You know, Stone Cold Austin and Steve Austin and Ric Flair, my two all-time favorite wrestlers, man. And I used to enjoy when him and Vince McMahon used to go at it.
You know what? They're going to show Monday night. The best one I liked was remember when Vince McMahon hurt his leg? Remember when the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and Undertaker, hurt his leg and he was laying in the hospital? And then Mick Foley came with Mr. Sacco. And then right after that, the lady comes in and she says, is everything okay, Mr. McMahon? And then I heard the doctor say, I'll take it from here, nurse. And it was Stone Cold in scrubs, and he started beating him up with a bedpan. And then he beat him up with a bedpan, and he shoved one of those enema things up his butt, and the IV wrapped his butt. he hit his leg. He was beating him up right in the hospital room. Oh, that was so funny. And then another good one was when he poured concrete on his Corvette. He dumped concrete on his Corvette. I was laughing. It was just so funny. And then how about the time when Vince and Linda were separated? It was a storyline. And we remember when Vince was messing with Sable, and they had this big storyline going on, and she made Stone Cold the commissioner of the WWE. Oh my gosh. All right, Stone Cold Steve Austin, born originally, his real name is Stephen James Anderson, is his real name. Born in 1964, December 18th. So he just had a birthday. Better known by his ring name as Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's also a media personality and actor. He hasn't acted a lot lately. Lately, he's been kicking back and retired and relaxing in his home in Texas. And he's also been, he does a Broken Skull sessions on Peacock on the WWE Network. And he's been doing a lot of endorsements. He's been going around signing autographs. He's enjoying his retirement. And he is also involved occasionally as a producer with the NXT and also with the WWE here and there. His years active were 1989 through 2003, and then 2022 he wrestled again last year in the WrestleMania match. We all saw that one against Kevin Owens. He's been married 3 times, or actually 4 times. He was once married to Deborah McMichael, who was the late Steve Mongo McMichael's wife. He was married to her for a little while. And so he has 3 children, and he's been by many ring names. The Ringmaster, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stunning Steve. I remember when he first started in WCW and ECW, went by Stunning Steve. And then he teamed up back in the day, was in a tag team, Smokin' Jim, on WCW with Brian Pillman, and they were called the Male Blondes or something like that. That's what they were called, or the Young Blondes or whatever. And they had blonde hair, and his build height is 6'2", his weight's 252. He lives in Victoria, Texas. He was trained by wrestler Chris Adams, who still is wrestling, believe it or not. But he got started with Chris Adams. He debuted in September 30th, 1989, retired officially in 2003. And he has a website called thebrokenskullranch.com. So, so he played college football at the University of North Texas. Guess who played at North Texas there, Smokin' Jim?
Me and Joe Green.
Hey, that's it. Yeah, I didn't know. So, I learned something like you did. Signed with WCW in 1991. It was and adopted the persona of Stunning Steve Austin. He was a villainous in the ring, and then he had teamed up, and he had won WCW and United States Heavyweight Championship. The TV title in WCW, I remember when he won those. and he was also WCW World Tag Team Championship with the late Brian Pillman. And as I mentioned, they went by the name the Blondes. So in the WWF, when he was in the WWE, it was the WWF, and he was repackaged, short-tempered, brash, and he was named Stone Cold Steve Austin, becoming the most popular wrestler in the Attitude Era. Off the back of the feud of the company chairman, Mr. McMahon, he won the WWF Championship 6 times, and he was WWF Intercontinental Championship. He was remember he was the bodyguard for the $1 Million Man. He used to hold the belt. He was doing that for a little while. Well, Smokin' Jim, yeah, he did that for a little bit, and then he also was a tag team championship a few times. He won it with Shawn Michaels, and he won it with the Undertaker too. So he's won the tag team belts a few times and he's also been involved in many WrestleManias, as you well know. He was inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009, and last year had a match with Kevin Owens. He hosts a podcast called the Steve Austin Show. He hosted for a little while until present. It's now called Broken Skull Sessions, but he's had the podcast since 2013 on the WWE Network, and he currently works part-time as a producer both in NXT and in WWE. So what's your thoughts on Stone Cold Steve Austin as our feature Where Are They Now segment tonight?
Oh, man, I enjoyed it, and I'm glad you did that. I learned a few things. I thought I knew everything about Stone Cold Steve Austin. As usual, you bring out a few things that I didn't know, and I don't think our listeners knew. But again, my favorite wrestler, he reminds me of a great bodybuilder by the name of Branch Warner from the same area down there in Texas. They talk alike, they look alike. You know, they're they could be brothers or they could be Stone Cold son, man. And so if you ever get a chance to hear some interviews with Branch Warren, he sounds exactly like Stone Cold Steve Austin. No nonsense.
Oh,
Two
absolutely.
no nonsense guys.
Oh, absolutely. And I will tell you this much too, Smokin' Jim. I used to sell his shirts, him and the Undertaker shirts, when I had my flea market stand down at Trader Jack's. And let me tell you what, they sold like water. When I got them, I couldn't hold them, and then I had to get more and more. And then when the factory ran out of them, I had a friend, and I have some friends. I had friends in some high places. I could get shirts at a discount, and I was able to get the wrestling shirts that they were throwing away, that they were actually getting rid of, and I took them off their hands for a cheap price, sold them at the flea market. Let me tell you what, man, his shirt sold like you wouldn't believe, especially the one with the skull and everything on there. It says Stone Cold Steve Austin 316. Absolutely. His shirt, the Undertaker shirts, all sold like water, and I had to keep resupplying myself. Made a lot of money off of those shirts. I tell you what, it was great. And, but not only that, I enjoyed Stone Cold Steve Austin in his time when he did wrestle. You do know he had to retire in 2003 because of a neck injury that he suffered from Owen Hart. Owen Hart put him in a pile driver back in the late 90s. He had a surgery on his neck, and WWF officials at the time, it was still the WWF, advised him not to wrestle anymore. He wrestled briefly here and there after the 99 season, or the 99 year, 1999, because he wrestled part-time. And then if you noticed, he was starting to go part-time. It's because of that neck injury that he had from the late Owen Hart. And in 2003, officially called it quits from wrestling. Got into acting. He did a few reasonably good movies. I thought they were okay. The one movie I saw him in, he was in with Steven Seagal. They were two guys who were involved in a task force to stop some terrorist group from taking over prisons in the United States. And the one prison they were going after, and him and Seagal had to stop it. That was the last movie I saw him in. And that was back in like 2013. I don't know if he's acted since then, and I haven't seen anything with him in it. And then he was in The Longest Yard, the reboot, the one with Chris Rock and Adam Sandler, and not the one with Burt Reynolds. He was in that movie. He played a prison guard in there. So that was pretty decent. Smokin' Jim, it's time to wrap up. You have any final thoughts before we go?
No, I think we covered it all, brother.
Yes, we did. We did cover it all. Don't forget, next Wednesday we're here every Wednesday night, 7:30 on our 4 platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Take a look at the ticker take at the bottom of your screen, and also don't forget tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Blog Talk Radio 347-205-9631. I'm sorry, I made a mistake last night. Not 8 o'clock, 7:30 tomorrow night. Smokin' Jim, 7:30. We're on for another hour show tomorrow night, 7:30 start time. For the Wrestle Talk with myself, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Mark Mancini, national show on every single Thursday night. And our usual time is 8 o'clock. We're on 7:30 to make up for some lost episodes that we had because of the holidays and some other things. So we're going to have another 1 hour show. We're going to talk a little bit of sports tomorrow night as well on the show. Tonight, 10:30, myself, Mark Mancini, on the Sports Web with Peter Blake at the on the Sports Web show tonight at the tail end at 10:30. Turnbuckle Talk. We'll be talking some more wrestling. I'll be on with Mark Mancini and Peter Blake. We'll be on YouTube Live, Sports Web. It starts at 9 with Peter Blake and Harry Berg, the Greek. So he'll be on as well with them as well. Smokin' Jim Frazier, it's a pleasure having you on as always. It's been a pleasure for everyone watching. Have a great night, and thank you very much, and be safe.